She told me, "I don't know if I'm in love with you anymore, but I still want us to live together." That's the moment I stopped being the man she didn't love, and she slowly came to see, too late, what she had let go. I'm Nathan, 34, living in Denver. Until not long ago, I thought Tara, who's 33, and I were building a future together. We met 4 years ago at a trivia night, not the kind of meeting you see in movies. She laughed at a dumb joke I made about obscure movie quotes, and we clicked. By the end of the night, we had already exchanged numbers and shared bits of our lives like old friends. 2 years into the relationship, we moved in together. The place was small, but it was ours. We got a cat named Bean, who quickly became the pampered middle child of the household. We had routines, morning coffee side by side, YouTube spirals that went too late into the night, and weekend grocery trips where she always snuck in overpriced chocolate. Life felt steady, warm, and ours. 2 Sundays ago she looked at me and said, "Can we talk?" I sensed something was wrong instantly. Her voice wasn't cold, just hesitant. She sat across from me at the table, holding a cup of tea she didn't drink, and told me she'd been thinking. She said she loved me as a person but wasn't sure she was in love with me anymore. I didn't argue or cry. I just listened, absorbing the weight of it all like a blow I should have anticipated. She said she didn't want to lose everything, that maybe we were better as companions than as lovers. As if that distinction would soften the impact. I nodded, thanked her for being honest, and told her I needed some time. That night I chose the couch, not out of resentment, but because it no longer felt right to share a bed with someone who wasn't sure about us. The next morning I got up early, made my own breakfast, skipped our usual morning kiss, and didn't send a love you text. She noticed, but didn't mention it. That evening, I told her I'd be moving into the spare bedroom, the one we barely used. She asked if that meant we were done. I said, "No, just adjusting, like you suggested." She blinked, then nodded. No fight. The days that followed felt like a quiet unraveling. I stopped bringing her flowers on Fridays, stopped sending her surprise lunches at work. When she came home looking drained, I didn't offer a massage or draw her a bath. I didn't stop caring. I just stopped offering the little acts of love I once did for someone who said she didn't feel the same. One night she made dinner. I thanked her, Venmo'd her half the grocery cost, then did the dishes. She looked at me like I had spoken in a foreign language. But still she said nothing. By Thursday, I'd moved my things into the guest bathroom and canceled all the shared streaming subscriptions. She still had the login though. I created a shared spreadsheet for expenses. We'd always been casual about money, and I had usually contributed more. But roommates split things evenly. She didn't argue, but the apartment felt heavier. Not hostile, just quieter, like two people avoiding a conversation neither wanted to start. I wasn't trying to hurt her. I was just living according to the boundaries she had drawn. Friday came. Our usual sushi night. We always went to the same restaurant, ordered the same rolls, sat in the same booth. But this time she texted me, "Sushi tonight?" I stared at the message then replied, "Got dinner plans with a coworker. Maybe another time." The coworker was Ryan, a guy she never liked. Loud, a bit immature, but someone I could talk to. I needed that now. Her reply was just, "Wow, okay." Nothing else. I came home to find her on the couch, wine half finished, scrolling through old photos of us. Bean was curled up in her lap. She didn't look mad, just sad, maybe lost. She asked why I was being so distant. "You're like a stranger," she said. I looked at her and replied, "I'm not being a stranger. I'm being someone who listened to what you said." She didn't say a word. The next day, we barely interacted. That night, as I folded laundry in my new room, she came in and asked quietly, "Do you still love me?" I said yes, without hesitation. But I told her I couldn't keep doing all the things that make a relationship feel like a relationship when she'd made it clear she wasn't in it the same way. I wasn't angry. I was exhausted. Emotionally spent from putting effort into something she seemed unsure about. "I'm not punishing you," I said. "I'm adjusting." The following day, she got a flat tire driving back from her mom's. She called me, like she always used to. "My tire's flat. Can you come help?" I paused then said, "You have AAA, right?" "Yeah." "Call them." That's what they're for. It wasn't cruelty. It was clarity. I wasn't her partner in the way she wanted anymore, so I stopped acting like I was. The silence that followed said everything. On Monday, her sister Lauren called. "Why are you ghosting Tara while living in the same place?" she asked, half joking. I explained what had happened, what Tara said, what I did in response. Lauren was quiet for a beat. Then she said something I haven't stopped thinking about. She thought you'd fight for her. That's when it hit me. Tara hadn't been looking for honesty, she'd been testing me. Hoping I'd chase her, beg her to stay, prove my love with some grand gesture. Instead, I did the one thing she didn't expect. I took her words at face value. I believed her. I didn't know I was being tested. I thought we were being real. After that conversation with Lauren, things made more sense, though not in a comforting way. What I thought was an honest confession felt more like a trap. She didn't want clarity. She wanted a show. On Tuesday night, she came to the guest room where I now stayed. She sat beside me in silence for a minute, then took my hand and leaned in like nothing had changed. I gently pulled back. "This doesn't feel right anymore," I said. She looked shocked, maybe even wounded. "You're being cold." I kept my tone calm. "Cold would have been leaving the second you said you weren't in love with me." I didn't. I stayed. I'm still here. But I'm not going to keep acting like your boyfriend when you told me you don't want one. She didn't say anything, just nodded and left. By Wednesday, she said she needed space. Maybe it was time to reassess. I told her the door was open. The lease was in my name. She was free to leave whenever she needed. I wasn't pushing her out. I was simply not holding her in. That Friday, she posted a cryptic Instagram story about emotional neglect and feeling invisible at home. A mutual friend forwarded it, asking what happened. I didn't explain. I didn't justify. I sent them a screenshot of her original message. "I love you, but I'm not in love with you." That was the full story. The next Sunday, I went for groceries like always. When I returned, her things were gone. Furniture, a few plants, the bookshelf we built one chaotic weekend. Bean was still there, asleep by the window. On the counter was a short note in her perfect handwriting. Maybe I made a mistake. No big explanation. No drawn-out goodbye. Just that. I haven't reached out. I don't plan to. Since she left, the apartment feels calm again. I've started cooking more, finally took those guitar lessons I kept putting off. I sleep better. Not because I'm over it completely, but because I'm no longer waiting for someone to decide if I'm enough. I don't hate her. There's no bitterness, just understanding. She wanted honesty. I gave it. I didn't yell. I didn't chase. I didn't try to convince her otherwise. I heard her, and I respected her words. In doing that, I found my own. Maybe she thought I'd fight for her. But love isn't about holding on to someone who's already walking away. It's about meeting people where they are. And when they step back, you either follow, or you stop walking in circles. I chose to stop.